Once upon a time, 300 years ago, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, long before the invention of the famous Mozartkugel, a soft ball of marzipan in a chocolate coating, but that's not of great importance here. But there were already peasants, and there was a peasant called Josef Steinwender, one of the few Protestants in the city of Salzburg. The Catholic bishop wanted to banish them from the city, so Josef kept himself well hidden in his hideout, and secretly told the peasants and the servants and the maidservants about Luther's wisdom. As soon as the bishop heard about this, he got terribly angry and sent his soldiers and knights for Josef and the peasants and the servants and the maidservants. And so the soldiers and knights found Josef Steinwender in his hideout and promptly dragged him to the fortress of Hohenwerfen and interrogated him about Luther and the peasants and the servants and the maidservants. And the days went by and the soldiers and knights wouldn't stop asking and interrogating him about Luther and the peasants and the servants and the maidservants. Sepp then decided to hold his tongue and hold his tongue forever, but the bishop and the soldiers and the knights wouldn't stop interrogating him about Luther and the peasants and the servants and the maidservants. Resolutely, Sepp didn't say a word and simply held his tongue, and the years went by and the bishop lost his temper, but Sepp held his tongue and wouldn't say a word. One day the bishop forgot Sepp and didn't think about him anymore. So Sepp Steinwender, now also known as Dumb Sepp, remained in a small dark dungeon and didn't speak to anybody, and one day he was forgotten completely. Then after many years, Dumb Sepp suddenly started to speak again, but nobody seemed to care if he spoke or held his tongue, since everybody had forgotten him. And because everybody had forgotten him, one day Sepp was released from prison and nobody seemed to care if he spoke or if he held his tongue. However, by then, Dumb Sepp didn't want to go back since everybody had forgotten him, and so Dumb Sepp remained in the fortress and became the jailer. And nobody seemed to care if Jailer Sepp spoke or if he held his tongue, since everybody had forgotten him, and Jailer Sepp stayed in the fortress and spoke or held his tongue until he died.